Anime is great, manga is great at tying into what goes on in the world. Crystal and I were talking about anime and manga and how it is able to really draw into the story how the real world is. And we see it through the eyes of Little Good Witch this time. She's stumbling through the back dark alleys of this town. And what she comes across is just evil. Hidden evil, you know, not in plain sight, but evil is going on. And she's shocked by it. She really is shocked by it because she's a forest dweller. I mean, the worst thing that happens in a forest is, you know, a little bird falls out of its nest, and she could have put it right back in, probably would have with magic. She's seen a lot, but she's still kind of shocked by this. Yeah. It's like, what did these slaves really do? Why are they hung up? Have they been murdered? It's a great question to ask. Why are there always wars and rumors of wars? In our world, what's going on? I mean, there's a lot of unrest right now in our own country. And it just happens. It just happens. I think it's because of the fallen nature of man, but it happens. And Sharika is the eyes that we're looking through right now. And what she sees is just a shock to her. She wants to do something about it. And she's probably going to find out that she can only do so much. And yet, a single
act of kindness?
Oh, yes. I mean, it can go a long way. If you are the lone voice shouting in the wilderness, like John the Baptizer was, you can have a profound effect on the world. And she's going to. She really is. And so is the new band of the... I don't want to call it the new band of the Hawk.
I call it the band of the Black Swordsman.
Yeah, that's it. So is going to be the new band of the Black Swordsman. It's going to be a force for good. She's part of it. She's going to be a huge force for good within that band. And but right now, she's seeing the stinkiness of evil men.
And I also think that it's so interesting how in anime, and I feel like it's not like this in Western media, how they always show kind of both sides of the same coin.
Yes.
Where you get to see, like, if we harken back to Attack on Titan, you get to see Marley's perspective, and you also get to see Paradis' perspective. Yeah. And a lot of it comes down to your own personal perspective and your lived through experience of what you think is right and what you think is wrong. The truth is, none of us know fully what is right and what is wrong when it comes down to those kind of moral standpoints. Like, there's a lot of people, I'm sure, who watched AOT who would agree with Marley. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would see the Kushan slaves and think, well, the Kushan are typically bad people and this is just collateral damage. But then there's also people who are like, no, you can't just kill innocent people because it suits you and that you might be preventing something that happens. And then a lot of people might see the people of Paradis and think the same thing. Like, now you're doing exactly what Marley said you'd do and you're proving them right. But then at the same time, it's like, well, look at what Marley's done to us and they're acting innocent. So it's like, it is interesting how anime touches in those taboo topics and does it so much better than Western media. Where Western media is like, they just pick a side and you only get to see that POV.
Yes, it's really true. I mean, there's always two sides to the story. In fact, there's even a biblical verse that talks about that. I'll paraphrase. You think you've seen it all when you've heard one side of the story. Then you hear the other side of the story. And it's really true. It's why great lawyers, after a witness has been devastated by one side, the lawyer comes in and is able to patch up his reputation rather quickly and maybe win the day in the jury's eyes. And that's probably going to happen in what we see. There's going to be some good people in the town of Visalia. There's going to be some good people there.
Agreed.
We haven't really met them yet. It's fair to say we haven't really met anyone but a couple of bad guys. There's more to be revealed, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to see, what does our little group do? Do they just turn their back on this town and say, let's get out of here, it's so evil, we can't do a thing? Or is it going to be the more likely thing that Guts, with the help of Sir Lancelot, and who knows, maybe even Farnese, that they will affect this town somehow, for the better, if you ask me. Yeah, I'm trying to think of that great German man in World War II. Eric Metaxas pretty recently wrote a book about him. I can't think of his name. Oh, what a great man he was. He stood up to Hitler, a pastor.
Jamie, pull up the pastor.
Gosh.
Jamie will pull it up later.
All right. Read Eric Metaxas' book. What a story.
Something that I just thought of is the conviction arc, which is where we get Farnese and Sir Lancelot from.
Yes.
Her entire perspective.
How do you remember stuff like that?
What do you mean? What I find interesting is that Farnese also had a 180 change in perspective.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, she was very for like, kill the witches, do this, do that. So now it seems like she's on the right side of history, right?
Yeah, she is. Our group is on the right side of history.
Absolutely. But wouldn't you agree that there's people that think that they're not?
Well, yeah, because, and it's the people who think boldly that there are no absolutes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's the one absolute that they have. There are no absolutes.
Yeah.
Is that an absolute? So it's getting back to what we referenced before. And it's true that there's going to be some good people in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe those are the Kushan slaves that were, you know, hung up. Will they rally? Will some of them leave with guts?
I feel like he doesn't take people on like that.
He really doesn't. I mean, when you think about Shyster Boy, he trailed behind Guts for a long time before Guts said, okay, follow me.
Yeah, he had to fight for, like, he had to earn that spot.
Yeah.
Restless nights, where he had to be like 50 yards behind Guts, sleeping in a bush, just hoping that Guts would let him join the group.
Teach me to use a sword like you.
Also, something that I'm thinking about is the people of Midland seem to think that femtelle, right? Well, he's technically gray here, so I guess I'll...
Yeah. Okay.
They seem to think that he's the savior, right?
Yeah.
And so their perspective is whatever he wants to do is the right thing to do. And then they meet someone like Guts and they think, wait, maybe I was wrong. Yeah. Maybe he's a safe option, but only for as long as he chooses it to be safe, right? He's manipulative. He's not there to protect them at all. But they have this skewed idea of him because it's like, well, he saved my children from being slaves or saved my husband from being killed or whatever. So it really is through your lived experience of like how you feel about certain topics and what they did for you. But then that can also be changed in the blink of an eye because then you meet someone like Guts and you're like, wow, I get the feeling he'd actually protect my husband or protect my son or... And you get that kind of like, wow, if I had only seen this side, I wouldn't have supported, you know, the Band of the Hawk in their new revival.
And depending upon the power of the group in charge, if you will, they have a tremendous amount of sway through propaganda. Yeah. After all, the socialist, and he was a socialist, Mussolini, what did they say about him? He got the trains to run on time. Oh, well, we'll follow him. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't take much sometimes.
Crazy.
To fool people. Well, my summary is a simple one. That anime is great, manga is great at tying into what goes on in the world right now.
And I think better than any Western media.
I think so too, because in Western media, we really do a great job of focusing in on whoever the action character is. That's why there's a whole category of films, action, adventure. Let's face it. It can go back to Robin Hood, you know? We follow...
one character in their perspective.
Yeah. Which makes me think, oh gosh, it's going to be another name I can't come up with.
Please.
But I remember the Robin Hood movie. Robin Hood, in this case, in this movie, was the star of Yosemite. And Robin Hood is the good guy in this particular movie. But there are times, though, I like it. I like clearly defined categories. Good guy, bad guy. And everyone does. We want to make it simple for ourselves, but life is never simple. If you would be so kind, share with a friend, like, subscribe, or whatever it's called in TikTok. And
this is YouTube.
Oh yeah, the camera's turned. Anyway, we'll be talking to you soon. Goodbye.